What's up, Boogie Monsters? Welcome to Remember When, where I, Chris Boogie, reconnect with the guest and we revisit, dissect, and laugh about a time, place, or insane experience that we shared together. I'm your host, Chris Boogie. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, at Chris Boogie with a Y, and on YouTube, at Chris Boogie Marcos. Today, I have the Kristina Leopold Jarvis. Kristina is a true triple threat based in San Gabriel, California, with her wonderful husband and puppy. She's recently had her TikTok singing videos reposted by well-known a cappella group The Trills, as well as the popular Instagram page Broadway Belters. She is currently overseas enchanting audiences as Nala in the Festival of the Lion King at Hong Kong Disneyland. Kristina, what is up?
Yo.
Coming straight from Hong Kong right now. This is our first international episode. This is crazy.
Hey. Oh, I didn't even do my bit. So I got you a present. I went downtown to get it.
Oh, my heart. How?
I was like, I gotta do it.
How dare you do that in the beginning? Like, I am turning so red right now.
You gotta start out strong.
Oh, I hate you so much.
Oh.
Well, that leads us into our episode. So, Miss Kristina, how do we know each other?
We met doing In the Heights for the 8th time for you? 7th time for you?
I think it was number 7.
Lucky 7.
Yes.
Yeah. Also known as the engagement production.
What was I gonna say? We're traveling back in time, but this was kind of like sort of recent, like January, February. So we're not going too far back in time, but we are going before the pandemic, so that's good.
BC, yeah.
BC.
Before Corona.
So, let's go back to like the very beginning of that though. Auditions. Auditions are a huge topic in these episodes. So, what was your initial audition like?
Ooh. So I couldn't attend the actual audition, so I sent in a video. And my audition song, like in life for years, is It Won't Be Long Now. The end of It Won't Be Long Now. So I never know what to sing for In the Heights because I'm like, I don't want to sing from the show. But I was like, whatever, this is my dream role of all time. Here we go. So sung my little 16 bars that I always do. Came to the callback. The audition was like, unlike any audition I've ever been to, I think. They had learned a dance call. Neither of us were there the first day, right? They did a dance call the day before. We had to learn it super quick with only us and like a few other people. And I was like, who's this dude that's like besting everybody and is like, why are you here? We're learning the dance. I was like, can you go in front of me so that I can watch? Thanks so much. Yeah, but it was, I don't know. It went well. We danced next to each other. So that was fun. You did a pose and I left the stage after because you did like a little b-boy move. I was like, there's no point in me being here, so I'm just gonna leave. Yeah, that's the dance call. I'm trying to think what else.
Oh my God. So I remember that as well, and same. Like I sent in a video because I couldn't be at the initial call. Had to learn to dance really quick. I was not confident. I know I put that out there. Like I knew it, but I did not. And I hate, I love California theater, but I hate when you have to audition in front of other people auditioning.
Oh, yeah.
I hated that. And it was like a sea of people, like at least 200.
There's so many.
My gosh. And I remember helping other people with the choreo while we were waiting and seeing you, and you went off and you're just like by yourself, and I was like, oh dang, she's got it. Like she doesn't even need to practice.
Oh gosh. That's just like my dance call. So I used to be one of those people that would like have to do it on the side as other people were going. And then I was like, no, like, can you picture it in your head, Kristina? You're fine. So then I was like, I'm going to psych myself out if I go over there. And I was so intimidated. And, but I was like, no, I think I got it. I think I got it. I don't remember if it was you who waved me over or who waved me over. Someone was like, come over here. Like, you got to practice with us. But then it ended up like you were in the front leading the way. And then I was getting asked questions from the back of that group. And I was like, I gotta go because this is like, this is too much. This is too much. Oh, and then we had to wait so long because they're doing every single group, everyone sitting in the audience. We were, I think, the last group to go. Oh gosh, it was so intimidating. Ugh, I did
It
not
was
like that. Meanwhile, our producer's like running around. I love Jesse so much. Oh my gosh. But he's like got his phone up living and he's like, oh, our Esmeralda's here, everyone. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And then he records our dance call and puts it on Facebook Live. I was like, I don't got this. Like, I'm cheating off this guy whenever I can. This is so crazy. Oh gosh, it was awful. I was like, okay, you got to impress. This is going on Facebook. Oh gosh.
I just remember like we got called up and we were right next to each other and I was like, okay, I remember this girl. She was off to the side. Like, okay, she's got it. So if I get lost, like I can just like kind of glance over. And you literally said, can you like move up? I'm going to need you to move up. And I'm like,
Yeah, I was like,
great, great.
I do remember cheating. I did cheat off you at one point, but I knew like which move it was that I was like, okay, I'm going to cheat for like timing. I don't remember what it was. But anyway,
Oh
I
my
definitely
gosh.
cheated off of you.
But then we sang after, right? How did that go?
That also, oh man, I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak like poorly about it, but it was, if you didn't know the songs already, screwed. Which I'm not necessarily a fan of. Like, I definitely think that in a callback situation, especially if you're called back for a lead role, and there were so few of us, and I think most of the people that were called back had said no, which we had to say no if we would accept any other role that was on our page in front of everyone. And I was the first name called, and I had only put Nina Vanessa, and I had to say no. And then our director goes, no. I was like, come on, dude. Like, just put on the spot. But so yeah, we had to sing, but the few people that were there, you could just tell. I just felt bad. Like, if you didn't know the song, you didn't know the song, and you were basically screwed. So I think that was like semi unfair. Not saying that the roles landed in hands they shouldn't land in. I think everyone got the role they should have, but I was like, man, that's so hard. Like, and then to do callback in front of everybody. You'd left also by the time I went, but I was definitely like, okay, if I'm Vanessa, there were two of you. And I was like, I like this guy. Like, I know the other guy. He's a good friend of mine. We've done shows together before, but I was like, but he's a little younger, and across the board, everyone was super young. But I was like, this guy looks older. And I was like, and I'm kind of transferring into being in the older side of casts now, which is super weird. So I was like, oh, I would like my Usnavi to be older than me. Like, so, and you did so well. Like, you absolutely killed it. And I was just watching everybody interact with you, and everyone was giving you hugs and like, oh, bye, Chris. Like everyone was just obsessed with you. And I was like, I feel like this is a good cookie that I would want to be his friend and like want to be his Vanessa. But yeah, but it was super intimidating to like do a callback song in front of everybody. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I was lucky. I mean, I think I was like the second one in the callback
Yeah.
or to rap after. And um the guy that went before me, I was like, okay, he sounds like Lynn. He
He sounds
raps
exactly
very
like Lynn.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, there's that. But I was like, I bring a lot more to the table, so I think I'm fine. I really try not to pay attention, like especially in those situations, to the competition in a
Yeah.
way. But it was kind of hard to tune it out because it was like right up in your face. But I knew what I wanted to bring to the table, and I was like, okay, if I get it, great. If I don't, hey, the guy sounds like Lynn, so
Sure.
yeah. But luckily, we both got cast in the roles.
Hey.
So what was your initial reaction like when that cast list first came out?
I think it was one of those, there's so few times in life when like a dream actually gets to come true. Like we get to see it. Um, and I was like, I just had, when I'm experiencing extreme emotion, I just have nothing. Um, and my husband and my mom were like, excuse me, like, hello, we got the role. Like, I'm like, yeah, uh-huh. Like, because I just had so many feelings that I was like, which one to pick? So I just like numbed out. But it was obviously extreme joy in the truest sense. And then like panic because now I actually have to do it and the dream actually is going to be a reality. Um, and then I clicked on your Facebook name, and then your cover photo is like you with the Oscars next to Kayala Settle, and I was like, cool, cool, cool. So we're gonna be across the way for okay, great, great, great. And anyone I talked to about you, because I was like, all right, tell me what's the tea? Like, who is this guy? And everyone's like, the sweetest, most talented person you'll ever meet. And I'm like, great, okay. So I just was like wanting to be worthy of being opposite you. Um, so there was like a lot of pressure. I think too, even in the audition, there were a lot of people that I hadn't worked with but had seen me in things, and came up to me in the audition with, and I say this to you, and I guess to anybody else who watches, because you know that this is not my character to be like, but like people telling me I do theater now because of you, because I saw you in Hunchback, or you inspired me to XYZ because I saw you in The Wiz, and that was the first time I'd really auditioned anywhere where people had seen me in things and were like, oh my gosh. And I'm usually a third girl from the right. Like this was my first year really getting leads. Um, and a lot of those people, I was like, oh, this is my cast now. Like these are people that have told me that they look up to me or told me that I've inspired them to do whatever. So it's like, okay, there's like a little bit of pressure here to make sure that I live up to like what they think, or what they've seen. So yeah, excitement and pressure, long, short.
Wait, that's so surprising for me to hear. I mean, every time you tell me like, "Oh my gosh, I was nervous," or not, why me,
Oh
or
my
anything
gosh.
like that, I'm like, "Are you serious?" Um, I just remember seeing the cast list, and one, I was like, "Okay, I need to figure out if I can do this show." um, like
Right.
financial wise, like
That was, yes.
we both live like hella far away.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that popped in my head. And the second thing was I had just gotten done doing American Idiot at the California Theaters. So a lot of that cast auditioned for In the Heights.
Mm.
A lot of them didn't get cast. And I was like, wow, the whole point I was doing this was, to do another show with some of these people that I got really close with. So I I saw you cast as Vanessa, and I was like, okay, do you guys know this Kristina girl? And they're like, dude, dude, like you have like there are like very few times when I ask about someone and their ability or whatever and their character, and there are very few times where people are just like speechless. This was one of those times. They're like, I can't remember who I was talking to, but they're just like, dude. I was like,
Oh.
okay. And he was like, just like, dude. And I was like, okay, what? She is like ridiculously talented. The girl's voice and she's like a triple threat. She can't be touched. And I was like, cool. Okay, here we go. And so I was like, okay, let's do the show. You know, we worked out the contract. Everything worked out good. Didn't have to be at rehearsals all the time. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's meet some new people. And here you come into my life.
Ah.
I have to say that that initial like um picture I painted of you was right and wrong at the same time. You were super intimidating, like
Oh
very
no.
intimidating. Yes. Why do you think we didn't
Oh
talk for like the
gosh.
first couple
We
rehearsals?
were never at rehearsal.
That's true. That's very true. But what was your first impression of like the cast? Because we kind of had a unique like young cast for this kind of show.
Yeah, yeah. First impression was like, oh my gosh, I'm in a room full of people that look like me.
Mm.
And that was like, even just like saying it gets like my little lump in my throat going, because it was like you so rarely get that experience, especially for me. It's my first time doing heights, so I haven't gotten that, luxury. um it definitely was like, uh, almost everybody has done this show before, um once being like minimum. uh and then so that was intimidating, but yeah, I definitely was like, ooh, these are youngins, which I was kind of surprised about, being how vast the audition was. I was like, oh, but also seeing all of them, I was like, oh, but this is the best of the best. They just happen to be young. And that's like, okay, I'm gonna be like, we always joke that we're like mom and dad of the cast as far as like the kids go. But yeah, young,
Mm-hmm.
but like ferocious and like tenacious and not, I don't know. I can't imagine getting that luxury to like get to do a professional production like whilst in high school and like learning and get to, I don't know, just they really seize the opportunity, I think. So, but yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I
young.
mean, like each cast that I've been in has had a certain thing. Like one's like the talented cast, one's the hardworking cast. This was like these kids were hungry. That's the word I associate
Yeah.
with that cast is they wanted it. And the fact that they were so young and so talented, like oh my gosh, like I remember um talking to Logan and Jacob
My
and
babe.
just telling, I was just like holding them. I was like, you guys are so freaking talented. Like, I think you guys are so, like,
Yeah.
man, and you're how old? Are you kidding me? That's not even
My
fair.
gosh. My gosh.
I
Yeah.
low key hate them, but
I know.
for being
And I
so
had just
talented.
played opposite Logan. And there's a 10-year age difference between us. And we played characters that are his age. So, but I was so glad he was there, because both of them are so, I love Logan and Jacob. They're both so talented and so sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to you two. Love you
Shout
guys.
out.
Cool. So, what was the rehearsal process like for you? We were kind of both in and out of rehearsal. We weren't at every rehearsal, so it was kind of like difficult, staggered.
I think at least like initial rehearsal process, I think like before we got to the California, we were like we were never there. I was so booked. I've never been booked up to my eyeballs like that. Um, and then since we both live super far, it was like, ugh. So uh, I did feel, I guess, like disconnected at first from the cast. And it was like, well, I'm learning this, got to learn this music on my own, which I'm very used to with rehearsal processes. But this was like, oh, but it's like, this is like our family. Like, I want to be learning this music with the cast. It was so rare that we'd all be in the same room together, learning dances from videos while being dance captain. I don't know. It was like a little discombobulated, at least at the very beginning. Yeah.
That was another thing. Like you got elected dance captain. What was that like? I mean, I imagine that I mean, you had a relationship with Malcolm already,
Yeah.
correct? And so he knew your ability and that you would be able to pick up stuff, be able to translate it to everyone. But having, I mean, I think the the toughest thing with being dance captain is translating, especially with different ages and different learning styles. I mean, did you run into any problems in that category?
I feel like the long short is no. Um, you can chop this little bit out because I'm not really sure like how to answer that because it was so chaotic. But I don't think like because we had Precious, I don't think I really had to do very much.
Hmm.
It was more like my job was trying to clean it when Malcolm was not there. I don't know. I don't know why I like got quieter as if it's like a secret. But
So, oh, another unique thing that happened was us leads got together like outside of rehearsal and discussed character and story and kind of told our backgrounds and history with the show. Were you part of that initial idea?
I think so. Was it my idea?
I don't remember because I feel like I was late to the party.
I feel like, well, so lovely Cameron, our director, was like, hey guys, we're going to sit down and like fill out these character bios, which I think a lot of actors will stick their nose up at sometimes. But I was like, no, we need it, especially with this show in general being a little bit more of an educational process because of how young our cast was. Um, but I was like, I put thought into my answers. I'm looking at, like lovely Selena, Nina, her paper, she's got a lot written down. Eileen had a lot written down, Daniela. So I was like, I feel like we should chat about all of this because it's fun. And I love talking character. And I think at that point, because you and I had not been at that many rehearsals, it was like, okay, we need to like come together and have a moment together. And that was like honestly my favorite night, I think, of the entire process because we all just, I mean, Heights sparks that emotion in you. Like I asked you so many times, like, how do you do this show so many times? Like I'm a mess constantly. Like, how do you do this? But I think it was so important for us to come together and like honestly talk character, yes, but rant a little bit about our life as POCs and what that looks like in theater, and especially being kind of all of us are in that in between. So being too light or too dark for XYZ, like we all kind of have that bond. And I love that like our barrio got to be like the land of misfit toys. And I really loved that we all got to share that together. I think that was really special.
Absolutely. It was such a cry fest too.
Just wept, wept.
But it was also like if I'm gonna be selfish for a second, it was one of those moments that I feel like between you and I, we kind of
Mhm.
broke down a wall because we kind
Mhm.
of like confessed our appreciation for each other. I think you're really good. I think you're really good too. Like,
I think you're really talented.
so it was like, it was such a relief in a way to be able to play off each other and give each other our full energy after that, because after that wall was broken, it was like, all right, we're basically connected at the hip. It's
Mhm.
the Christina and Chris powerhouse. Here it comes.
Yeah.
So I was really appreciative for that night. And you were the one that reached out to me and was like, "Hey, come upstairs." So thank you.
Oh, praise. I don't remember that. I thought we were just all in it together. But good, I'm glad.
So what was your favorite part of being in the show? Not like you can say your favorite part of the show itself and your favorite part of the entire experience.
anything with Chris Boogie. Um, so I think my favorite part was 96,000. Um, but then like five other favorite parts come to mind as soon as I say that. But I think it's because I was really like, we are doing this. Like, this is this is good. Like, this is a good show. And I just got to be proud of it. And like singing with you and Jalen. I mean, come on, like you can't beat that. And I think we just got to play. And that was so fun. Not bad getting like a standing out in the middle of a song. That's awesome also. Um,
And holding the pose for
and
like 10 minutes
eons
after.
long applause. Oh my gosh. And I asked my friends, I was like, okay, was that really like, were you just being nice? Because, you know, we only had 2 shots to do it. And they were like, no, that was completely warranted. We could not stop clapping. The curtain could have gone down. Like, it was, that was it. It was such a fun, like, showstopper moment. Yeah.
P.S. to rewind to the rehearsal process, when we did
Yeah.
96,000 and I heard you sing the Benny note an octave up. Listen, Kristina, listen. I've done heights a few times, okay? And I feel like I've heard every option, every note change, every kind of like unique thing in this show. I have never. Girl, I have never. And I was right next to you when you did it the first time, and I was like, who what? Wait a minute. I have to like insert that clip in here somehow, and just so you guys
Oh
can
my
listen
gosh,
to that.
yes. Hold for the A
Jesus.
natural.
Oh my god. Like how? How?
96, I know precisely what I'm doing.
Did you have that plan the whole time?
No. So Vanessa's stuff is like such a high pingy belty soprano, which I am comfy with, but they're especially 96,000. She sits like right on that E5, which is my lovely break note that hates me. And it seems like they were giving us a lot of freedom to do whatever we wanted. So I asked our MD Jordan, I was like, hey, and also we didn't have any choreo after that. So I was like, I don't know what to do. What do I do with my hands? Inside joke just for us. But I so asked Jordan, since we weren't doing anything after, and I asked Jalen permission because I didn't want to like take his moment, obviously. And he was like, please do that. Give the people what they want. So I asked Jordan, I was like, hey, can I do an option up? He didn't ask what that option up was. He didn't ask anything about it. He was just like, yeah. I was like, okay. So I just kind of went for it. And Cameron, I think, threw his script. And I was like, okay, so we should keep it? Are we great? Cool. But honestly, it was just the coming together of like, I don't have any choreo to do. This note is hard for me. It'd be easier for me to go higher. My MD says it's okay. Sure. So.
Oh gosh. Okay, sorry. I had to throw that in there because that sidetrack was necessary. My God. Okay, go on. Favorite part of the whole experience?
Honestly, and it's not just because I'm on this podcast with you. I would say that my friendship with you, I think, is my favorite part of the whole thing. Because all of our carpools from LA, and I think you just, I couldn't have dreamt up a better Usnavi to have for my very first time. doing Heights, and you were just so there for me throughout the whole thing. Um, Especially that whole week. I was so sick that whole tech week before. I just was so scared I was going to fail. And that the dream that I'd had for so many years was going to like fall flat because I wasn't going to make it. I wasn't going to be up to par. And you were just so there, so present throughout that whole week. And I just like, I don't know. I just love our friendship and that it was able to be cultivated the way that it has and last the way that it has. So you, Chris Boogie, you're my favorite part of the show.
Man, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, the feeling's absolutely mutual. I mean, you know that during the rehearsal process, there are moments where you're like, why am I here? And when I was in those moments, I would just have to look over at you and know that you were there, like supporting, and you were just there for me. And I feel like we, in a way, yeah, we were mom and dad of the cast, but
Yeah.
we kind of held everything together because you and I were like teamed up. We were together. So I really you're in Hong Kong and like we're still like talking, you know?
Hey.
I love that. I love that. So now that all the gushy stuff is out of the way, what was your not so favorite part?
I gave like a good think to this. But I think so. Normally, I guess for the past few years, I've been behind the table in theater as much as I've been in front of it. And I was, while we were doing Heights, I was choreographing and MDing a show at an elementary school. I help run a theater program. And I think my least favorite part of the production as a whole was that I didn't get to take my teaching hat off necessarily when I walked into the rehearsal room. Normally, I'll teach during the day, do voice lessons, whatever it is, and then I'll get in my car for the however long drive that's going to be long because LA traffic. And I get to like take that teaching hat off and put on the like, I get to be selfish. I get to just create now. I get to be the artist I want to be. I get to just like, but because the cast was young, and I think just the circumstances regarding our creative team, I had to stay in that teaching hat. And I wish I got to leave that in the car on the way, if that makes sense.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, like this goes hand in hand. Is our run was super short. It was one show day, 2 shows.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
oftentimes like you get to sit in a show, like you get to like just perform and create once that run starts. We didn't really get that chance. So I mean, that's my least favorite part is it was too short. So we didn't really get to, peel back all of the layers of what In the Heights is, really, really dive into getting to know each other as performers on stage. But there's no doubt in my mind once everything lifts that we'll be able to do this show again, hopefully, and and get that opportunity for sure. I will say that drive was awful. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep going back to the California theater. It's so far. They keep on offering me leads. But carpooling
But
with
that's
you was
the
awesome.
truth, though.
No, it is. I mean,
And just out in LA, there's not too much regionally that we can do. Like, there's not a ton of professional theater out where we are, So we have 2 choices. It's like OC, like Orange County, or we head out to San Bernardino. So it's like, you do what you got to do. And it was Heights, like, can't resist it,
Yeah, I mean, I say this now that we've gone through that experience, but if either of us are going out there to do a show, we've got to do it together. We've got to carpool every time. It's a must now.
100%. Yeah.
All right. What do you think you took away from the whole experience? What did you learn anything about yourself, your character, anything like that?
Oh yeah. I think character wise, what, because each character teaches you something, you know? So I think, well, how to organize thought. Um, I think I'm very similar to Vanessa, but so different in how we've handled our traumas. Um, so, but she's so legitimately confident and unapologetically herself. And I think if anything, like I don't even wear shorts in real life. Like I do not. I'm a very modest dresser. I don't like show off. I do not go to dance clubs. But I think it was like, okay, girl, but like you can do that. Like you can walk out in your little shorts, get applause as you come out and like kill the show and really, I don't know, just kind of like, yeah, I'm a 10 out of 10, like what you want. So I think too, if there was no Vanessa, the next show that I did being Sister Act playing Dolores would not have happened. So it was like a lovely stepping stone in the kind of confidence that I needed to build as a human, but also to portray in a character. Vanessa was also the first character I did where I like legitimately Enneagram typed her. And that was so fascinating to like dive into different motivations depending on her Enneagram number. And I think, I mean, obviously I'm an Enneagram geek, as you know, because I made you take the test and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But but it helped so much. So I was like, this is how far, like I can go so much deeper than I can go with characters. And I'm already a very deep character analysis person. Um, so yeah, so I think Enneagram, confidence, I think those two things were like really helpful. And I definitely used them in Sister Act and now in life with confidence for sure.
That's beautiful. Ugh. I just I can talk heights like forever, but I've done the show so many times. I keep on saying that. I'm going to cut that part out. Often you do shows, you have fun, you have shows that you just do for the paycheck. This specific heights, I think I was very it was very easy to form connections on stage because I feel like a lot of the leads especially brought a lot of themselves to their characters. So in a way it was like I'm looking at Vanessa, yeah, but I'm looking at Kristina as well. So I think it was very easy to play off of each other. And it was one of the shows where I really felt like we were a community of people. Yeah, there's an audience. Yeah, we're on a stage, but I feel like I've hung out with Jalen. I've shook his hand like a million times before this. I feel like, I can look over at Selena and give her a hug and it wouldn't be the first time I've hugged her. So I feel like it was definitely a connection show for me.
Yeah.
We're getting into a section called Getting to Know You. All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So these are rapid fire questions. Some this or that, some fill in the blank, some short answer. But I may judge you for your answers, so be careful, okay?
Cool. Love that.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
What's on your pizza?
Cheese only and barbecue sauce.
Favorite alcoholic beverage?
I don't really drink, but if I had to, a Moscow Mule.
Ooh, okay, fancy.
If I had to.
I love I make a really good raspberry one. Okay.
Wonderful.
Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Oh, Growing up, it was in sync, I will admit.
That's like, oh gosh, I don't think anyone said Backstreet Boys yet, and that's fine.
Really?
That's totally okay. I respect NSYNC, so I love NSYNC, but I was a Backstreet Boys household. Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers?
Because I love you, I'm going to say Ninja Turtles.
I would have been okay with either answer.
All right.
So far, everyone's been so careful of that. They're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to say Ninja Turtles, right?" But
Because it is a serious thing.
it really is. But when it's compared to Power Rangers, it's okay if you choose Power Rangers.
Okay.
All right, something no one knows about you.
I don't know. I'm a very open book. That's a hard one.
Secret talents, you allergic to something that no one knows about.
I can cross my eyes and make one go the other way.
Do it.
Oh gosh. Okay. I haven't done it in a long time.
That's incredible. That's so cool. We learn something every day.
Hey.
Every day. All right. Fill in the blank.
Okay.
I wish I wasn't scared too.
That's a loaded one though.
Doesn't have to be.
I will say be spontaneous.
Same on that one. I'm
Yeah.
very meticulous in everything I do in life. It's a
Yeah.
gift and a curse
Love
at
it.
the same time.
Exactly. Yes.
Something you're obsessed with right now.
I think I'll embarrassingly say TikTok.
That's okay, because you're like
love it.
a TikToker now. You're a legit TikToker now.
We don't have enough followers yet to be a TikToker now, but oh gosh, it's been really helpful while sitting doing nothing to I need an excuse to sing something. Just scroll for a bit, I'll find something. So it's been nice.
See, I think if you use it for that, then you're totally just in using TikTok.
Yeah.
When you're scrolling for like stupid falls or fails or whatever, then we have a problem.
Oh no.
All right. Something you hate that everyone else loves.
I don't know.
Game night.
Oh yeah. I hate games. Thank you.
Oh gosh, that's one thing.
I hate playing games. They're not fun. I don't understand. People just end up fighting, and it's not even for anything. It's being competitive for no reason.
See, that's one thing where we like if we were to change one
I
thing
know,
about
I
Kristina,
know. Nah,
it's fine.
I don't like games.
We'll get past
games.
it. Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Josh Hutcherson.
That's right. Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Which you were like when you first told me that you were so embarrassed. Why were you so embarrassed?
Because he's not just in general, my aesthetic is not what normal people's is. Like, I like cute things. So I don't like the stereotypically handsome, whatever. I like the cute little ones. So it's just not common. It's not a Chris, you know what I mean? Not you, Chris. The rest of them.
Got it.
The Hemsworth, Pratt, the list.
Got it.
Fine. It's not a Chris, so it's not normal.
I could be on that list.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, favorite TV show growing up?
I'm a reality TV person. So I loved Survivor, Amazing Race, Big Brother. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One thing you want to be remembered for?
I think anything it would boil down to is being kind. Because I almost think it's not expected for people that are good at what they do to be kind. But I think being kind. Yeah.
If you were to go back in time to In the Heights, is there something that you would change or you would say that you didn't get to say to a certain cast member, crew member, anything like that, that you would say?
I don't know. I was pretty vocal. Um, I think I would speak up about the club earlier. Because that was such a, don't get me wrong, the choreography was great, but it was a lot and became unsafe. So I wish that I had spoken up and said like, hey, that I don't feel safe sooner. I think I thought it would get better quicker than it did, and it just wasn't. And that ended up with me getting dropped several times. So uh, yeah. And I would have said, we need to plan those lifts now, especially if I'm going to be the one teaching the lifts, which I don't like doing, because it just, you can't communicate well when you're trying to like koala bear somebody while trying to explain how to hold you. So I would have been like, okay, what are lifts, as the choreographer to the choreographer, what are lifts that you feel comfortable teaching so that we can all come up with something that's going to feel safe and secure for everybody, that I don't have to try to put on these young boys' bodies by myself. Yeah.
Totally. I think if I were to go back, I would give myself more permission to speak up. Cameron, our great director, gave me that permission very early on, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to step on any toes. I wanted to just be the actor. But there were things that I spoke about later that would have, I think, eased the process a little bit. And that was all on me. Cameron kept on reminding me, like, dude, if there's something, like, let me know. Let me know. And we kind of all just kind of spilled everything on him at the same time. So that kind of was rough.
Well, I think we all reached a breaking point where it was like, okay, our show's becoming a show that I don't know if we're potentially going to be amazingly proud of. It'll still be good, but it was like, but is this heights? Like, does this keep the integrity of the story? And we were kind of drifting from that. Remember all of us standing there being like, Chris, you're the only one that can say something. Like, you have to say something. You're the only one that can go say something. But yeah, that would have been, I would have been curious to know what would have happened if you would have like owned it the whole time.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing I would change. I mean, the show ended up great, amazing. So sad that it was only one day show. But I think ultimately we did In the Heights, with no regrets, and that's awesome to go back in time and revisit that.
Yeah. We definitely left it all on the stage for sure.
Absolutely.
Tears, sweat, all of it.
Well, thank you, Kristina. You're still in Hong Kong, so is there like, are you up to anything? Like, what's next for you?
Hoping that the park reopens soon is what's next. And I think all of us expats here from the US, we're just watching America, trying to deem when the best time to come home is and re-enter kind of that chaos that's going on. Because we feel very safe here as far as the virus goes. Especially me being a woman of color, I feel very safe here. So we're just watching the US, seeing when it's, I mean, almost safe to return, I guess. Yeah, but I just would like the park to reopen. That's what's next.
Well, cool. Thank you so much, Kristina. It is always just an absolute honor to talk to you and to call you a close friend. So thank you for taking the time to chat with me and go back in time with me today.
Woo! Yay.
All right, guys, this is Chris Boogie reminding you to lead with your heart and stand on love. Don't forget to follow if you're listening on Spotify and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And as the late Bruce Lee once said, every situation in life is temporary. So when life is not so good, remember that it will not last forever, and better days are on the way. Deuces.